to the Soft Rebellion podcast, a homecoming to the creative power of your female body. Our world uproots us from the gifts of the feminine, the intuitive, the instinctual, the cyclical, the soft. What's the result? Patriarchal cultures of perfectionism, shame, and disconnect that leave us constantly running, never arriving. Imagine a world of women softly rebelling, claiming our cyclicity, our weirdness, and our rest as we each courageously cultivate a deep and delicious relationship to our female bodies. My name is Florina. I'm an osteopath, dancer, writer, and coach. I've been on my own journey sparked by an eating disorder to come home to the wild, poetic anatomy of my female body and awaken my creative power. And I invite you to join me and my guests, trailblazing teachers, healers, and creatives as we each reclaim our own soft rebellion. Hello and welcome back to the Soft Rebellion podcast. Welcome back to another episode, and actually welcome back to the last episode of this season, of the first season of the Soft Rebellion. It's the second season of my whole podcasting career and it's the end of the first cycle of the Soft Rebellion, which I launched in August. And wow, I can't quite believe yet how rich and nurturing and in such a good way challenging this time has been, and how by saying yes to the Soft Rebellion podcast, how this really is a deep commitment to say yes to my softly rebellious expression. And yeah, that's the unbelievable part. And it is believable how many things have with that also moved and shifted and changed and come to surface in my own life. And today's episode is also the last episode of this year. With this solo episode, I'm closing this year of the podcast. I'm closing this first part of the Soft Rebellion, and I say bye for the time being, and I'm looking forward to be back with you in January. And I say that right from the start. This episode, I'm sitting here, tea to my right, hot water bottle on my lap. I look out of the window. I've made a couple of notes, but not many notes. And I will just follow my heart and trust every word and sentence which wants to come across today. And I want to start by saying I'm feeling tired. And the second thing I want to say is I have such a strong calling to invite women home to their soft healing power of their bodies and reclaim their very own version of the Soft Rebellion, their unique, weird, and wonderful self. And over the last months, I've been playing in various ways how to do that. And I wish to be in a deeper conversation about this with you. And right now, I don't know how. So I follow my own softly rebellious knowing, and I'm going to rest for a month. I let it winter, and I see what arises. Yes, the softly rebellious call to winter. And this is what I would like to share with you today. And on that note, to wish you a wonderful Advent and Christmas and transition time. And the word Advent, I've actually just noticed that yesterday when I listened to a podcast with Shani and Alexandra and Sophie from the Menstruality podcast. And Shani shared how the meaning of Advent is arriving. And I loved when I heard that. That's exactly how I feel. I feel this call to arrive. And my softly rebellious call to winter is a huge invitation for me to arrive, to arrive with self, body, nature, love. And I would love to invite you to reflect upon that too. In what way and how do you give yourself permission to arrive deeper in these coming days? Maybe if there is any, in inverted commas, teaching or impulse of today's episode, then that's it. How can we all really harvest the meaning of Advent and drop through all the lights and chocolate and gifts and Christmas carols and meetings, and drop through all of that and land in the cloud called arriving, and ask ourselves, in what way and how do we give ourselves permission to stop running, stop talking and stop running, chasing, going fast, but inhibit, take a break, and allow ourselves to arrive. In what areas, where do we need to arrive? I think for me 2024 was a lot about navigating this so thin line between taking action, trying, doing something, working effortlessly hard so that dream's vision comes true, and also lets the inherent momentum and flow do its job. And this balance between following one's deepest calling and not trying too hard, still just let things unfold. And this balance can be so tough and so hard, to just use the amount of muscle force like in a yoga class which is actually needed and which serves me. And I found that very hard. And I think when we lose this balance, which happens, for me, that's the moment when there is a sense of, wow, I'm losing myself along the way. I forgot how to keep arriving in myself as I give and produce for people outside. And sharing that, today's episode or this conversation right now is in a way the most intimate one. I'm always trying to be authentic, and sometimes I guess we manage and sometimes not. And today I feel very raw, pure and authentic, and it feels like a very softly rebellious act to follow my call to winter and to share that with you, to say I'm tired, and I don't know right now how to bring into manifestation what I'm so much dreaming into, what I saw so clearly, especially since last summer when I launched this podcast. And I don't know, and I give this not knowing permission to be, and to drop into the emptiness of that not knowing that there is a gift, a fruit in there. And if you would have asked me a year ago or in summer, what will be the softly rebellious act you do in the beginning of 2025 or during this year, I probably would not have talked about this need to just winter. With this wintering, I will stop recording podcasts, I will stop releasing podcasts, I will completely log out of Instagram and Facebook and my newsletter and my webpage and really winter. And you know what? It needs some courage. I'm slightly nervous. I feel a fear. I hear and beliefs, voices telling, oh, you can't do this, you need keep and deliver, you will lose people, tarita to. And you know what? With great love, I don't care. I hear those voices and I know they want to protect and serve me. And I let them winter too. I think those voices actually really need to winter. What about that? If we allow ourselves to winter, we allow all those voices and beliefs which try so hard, which probably are so exhausted, we allow those to winter and to transform effortlessly into a belief, into a voice, a story, an image, a picture which actually serves our calling. Wow. I didn't plan to say that, but that's just what's pouring out of me right now. And that's what I really want to take into that wintering. And, wintering as being present without anticipation. I've been very present. I'm always present, of course, but in the last couple of months with so many anticipation, and I seek being present without any anticipation. And this conversation, what I say today is, one thing with podcasts is you never know how many people will listen, how long they will listen, if they will like it or not. And it would be so easy to get caught up in that. And sometimes that's what happens. And we try to record something which reaches the needs of our listeners and fulfills the desires of our audience. And this episode today is very much what I want to tell to myself right now. And knowing that we all share common wounds and pains. And I know that I'm not the only one experiencing what I experience right now. And therefore I know if I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to all of you. And I thank you, and now I feel a tear. I thank you for listening to this and witnessing myself, coaching myself for you, for all of us. And there I want to say, there is no failing, there is only seeking, sister. And my wonderful mentor shared with me on Monday how sometimes if something doesn't work, the one thing we need to learn is to fail fast. If it doesn't bring fruits, let it go and move on. And I've actually started to quite love that sentence, fail fast and dance on. That's what I said to myself this morning. And I'm not, no worries, in case you do love this podcast, I'm not saying that I'm completely letting go of the podcast. I feel a great, great love towards the Soft Rebellion podcast and the community I have been building over the last couple of months. And I already feel a sense of, I'm going to miss this over this wintering months. So I'm looking forward to be back with you and myself here in the space of the Soft Rebellion. Yeah. One note I made was share about the experience since August, and I think I've already kind of shared about my experience, which was so much about trying, maybe sometimes almost too hard, how to reach people, how to spread my work, the podcast, which was a lot about, to me, felt like giving, and maybe at this time not receiving so much directly back from when I give something, or receiving in other ways, which then is sometimes hard to see. I found it hard to give back to myself from myself. I found it somehow hard to find that right language. I feel and see my vision and dream, and now how can I channel that into a language that it reaches the woman I want to reach? And I think the search for that language needs emptiness, a void, wintering too. And I had a real sense of fear and tiredness of social media. And I want to ask you, honestly, don't you have that sometimes too? And I actually want to ask you, how do you navigate getting tired of social media, or that frustration I give but not so much comes back? How do you use social media in a healthy, in an aligned way? And I'd love to hear from you. softrebellion@florinatali.com. As always, I love to hear from you. And yeah, with talking about that fear and tiredness of social media, I can't wait to see what happens if I give that a long rest too. And with all of those experiences, and keeping talking about the soft rebellion on the podcast, on social media, in my newsletter, to you, to people, it really suddenly urges the question so strongly, where is the soft rebellion in me? And where is the soft rebellion in me? What part of the soft rebellion, or where in me does the soft rebellion need to be met now? Where do I need to give her permission to shift, to change, to move on, to let go? And I've been talking a lot about the embryo again and pregnancy, being pregnant. We are pregnant always with ideas, with creation, always giving a home, a physical home to creation, womb space to creation is our nature, is where we come from. And I'm still in the spring phase of my project. I'm not sure where you are, in what phase. I'm pregnant with a vision, an idea, a growing movement, community, a business, whatever we call it. And you know, I know that our bodies know so well, so much better than our minds, how to nurture and how to hold this creation if we listen. So as I transition into this wintering, I'm very much thinking, wow, how would I care for my body if I was pregnant? If I was pregnant with a baby, I have this imagination. I would really turn up my whole volume of listening and care and tenderness and projection and standing in for myself, in my back, and raise my voice and can I care for my body in the same way right now as if I was pregnant, because I am pregnant? And can you do the same? Can we please all care for our bodies, how we care for pregnant bodies, because we are pregnant? What would you tell your body, that embryo in you, and what would you not tell her? I bet you wouldn't tell that growing baby, oh gosh, you're not good enough, you failed, do more, no reason to celebrate. Wow, you would cheer that embryo day by day, moment to moment. You would have your hand on your belly most of the time in loving connection. You would listen with the ears of your heart. And can we please all do the same to that baby of creation we bring into this world? So can this be an invitation to finally meet what I create with the love and care how it deserves? And this, sister, softly rebellious friend, is the end of this episode. It's the end of season 1. I feel emotional. It's the end of the first part of the soft rebellion. And when I press that stop recording button, I will upload it all, and then I say goodbye for the moment. And I just summarize that again. The 2 invitations are Advent, arriving. In what way and how do you give yourself permission to arrive deeper in these coming days? And can you care? Can you please care for your body the way you would if you were pregnant? Because you are. I send you so much love to wherever you are, however you are. I hug you, I feel and see you through that digital space. I hold the soft rebellion, the space for the soft rebellion for all of us, and I will keep digging and seeking and find ways to grow an even more blossoming and nurturing environment for all of us to be our unique, weird and wonderful selves. Lots of love.